and, according to growing reports around the player's camp, have sent a clear and deliberate message that they intend to beat Arsenal to his signature. The move underlines Chelsea's continued commitment to dominating the elite youth market in Europe, even as competition intensifies from domestic rivals who admire the same profile of technically gifted, high-upside talent. At just 18 years old, Karetsis has already built a senior resume that most players his age can only dream of. With more than 70 first-team appearances for Genk, he is no longer viewed as a prospect breaking through, but as a player who has already proven his durability, adaptability, and mental strength at senior level. This season alone, his output of 2 goals and 10 assists across 27 matches has reinforced the impression that his influence goes far beyond raw numbers. He dictates tempo in advanced areas, links midfield to attack with maturity, and consistently creates danger through intelligent positioning rather than pure physicality. Chelsea's interest has not emerged overnight. Club scouts have been monitoring Karetsis closely throughout the campaign, tracking not just his attacking returns but his off-the-ball movement, decision-making under pressure, and leadership qualities despite his age. Internally, Chelsea view him as a long-term attacking midfielder capable of evolving into a central creative reference point, rather than a player defined by a single role. His ability to operate centrally or drift wide aligns neatly with Enzo Maresca's positional play model, where tactical intelligence and spatial awareness are valued as highly as flair. Arsenal, for their part, have also followed Karetsis with genuine interest. Mikel Arteta's project has proven attractive to young players across Europe, particularly those who thrive in structured attacking systems. However, the sense emerging around this particular race is that Chelsea have moved more decisively. Reports suggest the Blues have been proactive in their communication, making it clear to Karetsis' representatives that Stamford Bridge is where they see the next phase of his development unfolding. What strengthens Chelsea's case is not simply financial power, but precedent. The club has increasingly pointed to recent success stories as evidence that young attacking players can thrive in West London. Cole Palmer's rapid rise into a central figure, Moises Caicedo's growing authority, and the carefully managed integration of Willian Estevão all form part of a broader narrative Chelsea are selling to elite prospects. The message is consistent. Talent will be developed, not stalled, and competition within the squad is framed as an accelerator rather than a barrier. There is also a strong historical dimension to Chelsea's pitch. Belgium, Genk's home territory, has been a fruitful scouting ground for the club for decades. Eden Hazard and Thibaut Courtois remain iconic examples of Belgian-based talent that flourished after moving to Stamford Bridge, and that legacy still resonates within European football circles. More recently, Chelsea's acquisition of Karetsis' former teammate Mike Penders has further strengthened their relationship with the Belgian market, reinforcing trust between clubs and agents alike. From a valuation perspective, Karetsis' estimated transfer value of €25.8 million reflects both his current impact and the belief that his ceiling is significantly higher. Chelsea are comfortable operating in that bracket, particularly for a player they view as a multi-year investment, rather than an immediate starter under pressure to deliver. Arsenal are equally capable financially, but the perception is that Chelsea's clarity of intent and long-term planning may prove decisive. Another key factor is international experience. Karetsis has already earned 9 senior caps for Greece, a remarkable achievement for a player of his age, and that exposure has accelerated his development. Chelsea see this as evidence of mental resilience and adaptability, traits they increasingly prioritise when recruiting teenagers expected to handle the scrutiny of the Premier League environment. As things stand, the race remains open, but the momentum appears to be tilting in Chelsea's favour. By acting early, communicating directly, and presenting a coherent sporting vision, the Blues are attempting to position themselves as the natural next step in Karetsis' career. Arsenal remain interested and respected, but Chelsea's message has been unmistakable. They want Konstantinos Karetsis, they believe he fits their future, and they are prepared to move decisively to ensure he ends up in blue rather than red. Arsenal and Chelsea have been left recalibrating their summer transfer plans after fresh information emerged around the future of Lille midfielder Ayoub Bouadi, a player both clubs have monitored closely over the past year. At just 18, Bouhaddi has already developed a reputation in League One as a rare blend of tactical intelligence, composure under pressure, and physical maturity well beyond his age, attributes that have naturally drawn attention from Europe's elite. Bouhaddi's rise has been unusually swift. Since breaking into Lille's senior setup at 17, he has become a trusted figure in midfield, trusted not only to recycle possession, but to dictate tempo and provide defensive balance. Scouts from both Arsenal and Chelsea have been regular visitors to Lille matches this season, quietly compiling data and match reports as the player's influence continued to grow. Internally, both Premier League clubs saw Bouhaddi as a long-term midfield anchor, someone who could be moulded into a cornerstone player rather than a short-term fix. Those plans, however, have been complicated by developments in France. Bouhaddi's recent contract extension with Lille was initially interpreted as a move to cool the market and give the club greater leverage, rather than a definitive commitment to stay. The player himself did little to dampen speculation, openly acknowledging that a move in the summer remained a realistic possibility if the right project emerged. That openness kept Arsenal and Chelsea engaged, both believing there would still be room to manoeuvre once the season reached its latter stages. Chelsea, in particular, explored the idea of moving earlier than planned. With Enzo Maresca shaping his midfield around technical control and positional discipline, Bouhaddi was viewed as an ideal fit for the long-term evolution of the side. There were internal discussions about whether a January approach, despite the recent extension, could place Chelsea ahead of rivals and allow them to structure a deal before the market became crowded. Arsenal, meanwhile, saw Bouhaddi as a player capable of complementing their existing midfield options, offering depth now and leadership potential in the future. Yet the balance of the race appears to be shifting decisively. Reports suggest Paris Saint-Germain have moved into a commanding position, quietly advancing talks and positioning themselves as the most realistic destination. PSG's renewed emphasis on domestic talent has altered their recruitment strategy, and Bouhaddi fits that vision almost perfectly. Young, French, and already proven at top-flight level, he represents the type of signing the Parisian hierarchy now want to build around. PSG's advantage is not only strategic, but emotional. Remaining in France, moving to the country's dominant club, and staying closer to familiar surroundings are all factors believed to appeal strongly to Bouhaddi and his camp. The presence of former Lille teammates already at PSG has further strengthened that pull, creating a sense of continuity rather than rupture in his development. Financially, Lille are in a strong position. A valuation in the region of €60 million reflects both Bouhaddi's potential and the reality that there is no urgency to sell. For Arsenal and Chelsea, that price is significant but not prohibitive. The real challenge lies in convincing the player that a move to England is preferable at this stage of his career. With PSG offering a clear pathway, elite-level exposure, and a project centred on French talent, that argument has become harder to win. Real Madrid's distant interest adds another layer of intrigue, but at present, it is PSG who appear to have taken the most concrete steps. For Arsenal and Chelsea, the situation is a reminder of how quickly the dynamics of the market can change, especially when dealing with elite teenage talent. Both clubs may yet remain in the conversation, but unless there is a dramatic shift, Bouhaddi's future increasingly looks set to remain in League One, just under very different colours. What remains undeniable is Bouhaddi's trajectory. Whether in Paris or elsewhere, he is widely expected to become one of Europe's standout midfielders in the coming years.